Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I wanted to talk about the fact that your body exists on the third dimensional plane, but you're a multi-dimensional being and you have multiple points of perspective, and that your soul does not live inside a body, your body exists inside your soul. And what I mean by that is, because I know it's a lot to take in, but what I mean by that is that our third dimensional self, our physical body, is confined to the third dimension and the laws of classical physics. So things that can be measured. And they can be measured because of units, those units being numbers and physical things being able to be measured by units, and like you can predict where something will be with maths. But the thing is that our 3D self is not the totality of our existence, and I feel like as artists we are somewhat aware of that, if not completely. And it's kind of like a process of becoming more and more aware of this really large concept. And so today I want to come on here and try to explain the best way I can, in my own words, what I've learned. So basically, and I think I want to draw this, so bear with me a second. Okay, I've got myself a Sharpie and a piece of paper because I really want to draw this out properly for you guys. This is you, a person, my stick figure. This person exists in the third dimensional realm. The third dimension has 3 dimensions: length, width, depth, and it is also where it is confined by time and space. But your consciousness goes above the third dimension and into the fourth. And the fourth dimension, time and space, are one. And so basically, you are a higher dimensional being, and if I was to visualize it, would be something like this. This is you, and the reason I put it like that is this will be the point of your death. This is the point of your birth. And the reason I've done this as a massive squiggly line is because in the fourth dimension, time and space are one, which means that every moment that you have simultaneously exists. In the third dimension, you experience the present moment, and it seems like everything is happening in a sequence, one by one. I started this video, I went and got a Sharpie and a piece of paper and set this up, and then I'm going to, in the future, end this video. But all those moments simultaneously exist at the exact same time. And the reason we experience a separation between them is because in the third dimension, time and space is separate. It's not one. So, and we know this because this drink bottle here is separate from me. This Sharpie is separate from me. there is space existing in between objects. Everything is separate, and that's how we know we're in the third dimension. But there's an aspect of you, your higher self, which exists in the fourth dimension, where every moment from the second you're born to the moment you die is connected. And it's really hard to conceptualize, because the same way it's hard to conceptualize a fourth dimensional object, you know of fourth dimensional objects, but it's hard to conceptualize what a fourth dimensional object actually is, because it's just unfathomable. It's beyond the third dimensional realm, and it's something so much more vast. So this concept I'm trying to explain here of you existing simultaneously at once, but experiencing slices in the present moment due to the constraints of the third dimension. I'm going to try and explain it in another sort of way. So we've gone forward. I'm going to take it a step back. So this stick figure human I've drawn here has its own shadow. And I know that the 3D person looks 2D because it's a stick figure, but let's just imagine, for the purpose of explaining this video, that it's a 3D stick figure, and this shadow here is 2-dimensional. And we're actually going to go a step further. This shadow is made of lines, which is 1-dimensional. So you can see here we've got our stick figure, and which is 3D human being, and we've got it exists in the third dimension, length, width, and depth, which is separated by time and space. And in the second dimension we just have length and width. And in the first dimension there's just length, which I've written down line as well, so you know that the length is of the line. The lines make up the shadow makes up the shadow of the third dimensional being, and the third dimensional self is a shadow of the fourth dimensional self, is what I'm trying to get at. You got your place of birth, you got your place of death, and it's all connected. But this third dimensional self here, it exists here currently, okay? So basically, your fourth dimensional self is everything simultaneously at once, all of this. So every single slice of you existing, every place you've been, every thought you've thought, every moment you've been in, every space you've been in, every time and space you've been in, it's all connected. And your third dimensional self is a shadow of your fourth dimensional self, which you can't conceive, because how can you conceive the object of you being connected, because time and space is one in the fourth dimension? So how can your brain can't visualize that? And it's taken me a really long time to understand this, and I still feel like I'm not explaining it as best as I'm thinking in my head, but I really am trying. So the reason I say all this is because if you have a shadow and the shadow exists in the second dimension, then can you wrap your head around the fact that the self that exists in the third dimension is a shadow of your fourth dimensional self that exists in a space where time and space are one and not a separating factor of reality? The reason I say this is because once you begin to understand life this way, then the things that worry your third dimensional self cease to exist. Of course they still exist, but they cease to control you in the way that they control you, because you know that you are something bigger. And I know you've probably been told, like, you are much bigger and more is out there and all these cheesy cliches, but this kind of gives you sort of a starting of a visual anchor point of how to anchor that into reality and understand that to be true, because it sounds like an abstract concept, but it is quite concrete if you put it plainly in terms such as this, which is the fact that your fourth dimensional self is so vast and complex and incomprehensible due to the fact that in the fourth dimension, time and space are one, because your third dimensional self and your body experiences 3D reality through time and space being separated. So when you wake up every day and time and space is separate because your eyes perceive it that way, how can you perceive that there's a fourth dimension where time and space are one? And it's because when you go to sleep and you dream, your body is asleep. You have 2 points of perspective, your temporal self and your non-temporal self. And when your temporal self is asleep, your non-temporal self is no longer bound by the constraints of the third dimensional realm, and you go somewhere else where time and space are one, and that's why you have lucid dreams sometimes that feel realer than reality. And things happen that you're always told to just brush them off and that they're just dreams, but tell me why these dreams have an impact on your entire life sometimes, if they're just dreams. They impact the way you perceive reality and live your day-to-day life. Is because you're no longer confined by the 3D realm, and your non-temporal self enters a place where time and space are one. You are one. So you have an experience as the totality of yourself, your fourth dimensional self. And I guess people don't realize this because it's not easy to fathom. No one talks about it. And if you're an artist, then I'm sure you have some grasp of this idea, because sometimes when you have a creative idea, it's like a future version of yourself is guiding you, and that is the case. It's your fourth dimensional self guiding you, because your past, present and future are connected, and you can retroactively change your past by changing your present, which changes your future. And just think of it as this line, this squiggly line, where past, present, future are all connected. This is past, present, future, because you're not dead yet. And once you start to conceptualize your reality this way, then you no longer get caught in loops of resisting change because you're afraid of it, because you sort of understand that change is necessary. It's fundamentally necessary, and that everything that is bound to happen will happen. It's just a matter of how conscious you are of it, and when, and how much you allow yourself to be, and why. Is it a fear response? And if it is, then do you have the courage to face it and be conscious of it in the present moment? Or are you going to continue letting your fears dictate your reality? I hope this video helped someone or resonated with you to achieve the things you want to achieve and do the things you want to do. And yeah, I guess it's just some food for thought, big food for thought. But I hope you make it a good week, and I'll see you on the next one.